when you're on any path, whether it's your life, it could be business, a new venture, whatever, when you're on the path, your mind sort of makes decisions, right? So based on the information that you have, the worldview, your knowledge base, of course, the way your brain works, so on and so forth, you have a kind of a set of decisions, right? Now, these decisions, of course, set you on a path. Now, one of the most common things that happens is self-doubt, right? So we make a decision and then we're thinking, okay, is this the right decision or not? Because no one knows the future. The future, well, future is a funny thing because it doesn't really exist, right? What you think as the future is actually the present moment when you get to that. Okay, when you get to that is, again, it's tricky, isn't it? So if I say 1 o'clock tomorrow, 1 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, right? That's the future. But actually, it doesn't really exist. It doesn't exist out there. It's only that as I pass through each moment, right? This moment, this moment, this moment, after an hour, this moment, and after a day, this moment, and then it's of course 1 o'clock. And when it is 1 o'clock, it is that moment, or rather this moment. So the future is the present moment. So because of that, but what we normally think is that future is something that is like a, let's say it's a milestone on a road, right? Let's say you're driving to McDonald's or KFC. So you pass this junction, you pass a set of lights, and then you pass the big 7-Eleven, and then you reach KFC or McDonald's. And these are in a way reality, right? These are there irrespective of whether you are traveling on that road or not. If someone else travels on that road, they still exist. But the future is not like that. There is things that we think will happen in the future are not there, and they don't actually, we don't pass them as we move, right? We don't actually pass these things as we move, so they're not really set in stone. If you think that something is going to happen, that will not necessarily happen. It's not like it's set in stone and then you will pass by it and it's going to happen, right? So, but we think that the things that we are afraid or we assume or we forecast will happen are set in stone and they're going to be there. And that leads us to this kind of disturbance of tranquility. And we sort of, and then we look at, we look for information, we look for advice, we look for things that people tell us or the signs, and then we change our decisions. Anyway, why am I talking about this? It's based on today's quote, and let me just show you the quote. This is by Seneca, and he says, "Tranquility can't be grasped except by those who have reached an unwavering and firm power of judgment. The rest, which is the rest of us, constantly fall and rise in their decisions, wavering in a state of alternatively rejecting and accepting things." What is the cause of this back and forth? It's because nothing is clear and they rely on the most uncertain guide, which is the common opinion. Now, this is a slightly, that's why I started with my explanation first and then showed you the quote. Yeah, it just refers to that. We are always wavering. We are uncertain. And because of that, we look at popular opinion. We look at, let's say we're on a path. It could be anything, right? And then we watch an interview or we watch a piece of news and we let that affect our judgment. We let that change our path. Now, granted, we are not 100% right all the time, right? We're not really 100% right. But before letting outside influences affect our judgment or change what we've already decided, we need to really step back and think through it. Where is this coming from? Who is this person who's telling us? Like this video, for example. I mean, who am I, right? Who am I? Is my life great? Uh, do I apply all this philosophy that I talk about? Is it helping me? Do you know that? No, you don't. But if you're listening to me, right? You're listening to this video, and it could be a form of entertainment, or maybe you're taking some advice from this. But then again, it should be taken with a pinch of salt. Everything that I say or anyone else says, you should evaluate and you should think, okay, well, not this particular video, but if I was saying, for example, that you need to, in terms of your business, you need to go for a mentor. Like yesterday's video, I was saying that you need to get a mentor. And you hear that, and then you start spending time looking for a mentor. But before that, you need to think, is this really something that is good for me? Do I really need a mentor? Okay, this guy says that, having a mentor is one of the most important things, not just for business, but also for life in general, right? But do I need a mentor? So just like that. But having an unwavering kind of mindset, especially in terms of judgment, is very important. And that's what Seneca is saying in this particular quote. I remember I used to, well, I still have a wavering kind of mind, but very, very slightly. A few years back, I used to have a very chaotic mind. And of course, for me, it started with meditation that started helping me, right? So meditation actually put me on the right path. And it sort of helped me quiet my mind, because what I used to do, even in business and in life, with my family, with my daily, anything I do, I would have a set of ideas. I would think that I know what I needed to do, but let's say I meet a friend on the road or at a bar or at the gym, and I mention the thing that I'm talking about or thinking about, and then my friend says, oh no, you shouldn't do that. Actually, you know what? You should do this. I would immediately jump to that. I would change my mind. I would throw away all the thinking that I've done till that moment and simply say, okay, yeah, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. And yeah, sometimes it would, but mostly it was wrong, because now my friend doesn't mean me any harm. His intentions are good, but he had what? A minute to think about this? And so I told him something, and then he just, based on what his experience is, he would just rattle off an idea or a suggestion, right? His intentions are good. His intentions are to help me. But he didn't have the time to think through it, to look at the full context, to look at everything that that my worldview is. Okay, how does it affect my family? How does it affect this? What kind of a person I am? Blah blah blah. So he doesn't take into account all those combinations and permutations, and therefore, what he tells me may not be the right thing in that moment, right? For me in my life. Okay, I'm rambling now. I think you get the point, right? So when you're going through life and you're thinking through issues, you're thinking through problems, and you think you have a solution, you have a path, when you hear the sirens out there, and they might be good intentional, take a step back. Don't jump to that path immediately and abandon the thing that you've been thinking through. Of course, if you haven't thought through anything and you have absolutely no clue, that's a different matter. All right? I hope you find this useful. And listen, if you have similar kind of questions, and if you've been thinking about this, drop me a comment or hit me up on Twitter. Okay, my handle is @Bonigala, right? And let's start a conversation. All right? Till my next video. Take care.